pajamas. We're making pasta in pajamas. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yes, I am in my pajamas. The theme of 2022 is going to be film when you can because I want to be consistent, but my day is crazy. I am a mom. I've got a little one. He's hanging out with us in the kitchen right here. Can you say good morning? And so my whole schedule and day revolves around that little wonderful man right there. So anyways, my filming schedule is just all over the place. I basically film when I can. So it is 8:08 in the morning and we're gonna film this pasta recipe because I've been trying to do it for months now, and to be honest, I just keep running out of time, or whenever he goes down to bed, I am exhausted, and that's like the last thing I'm gonna do is cook some pasta. So anyways, we're doing this right now. This recipe is super simple. It's been like my favorite meal prep go-to because it's really comforting. I am a huge pasta lover. Thanks to my mother and her Italian heritage, pasta is just kind of my thing. So if you are just joining in or new here, I eat a relatively plant-based diet. I do not consider myself plant-based or vegan because I still incorporate animal products here and there, but I have just found for me and my overall health, my hormones and all that stuff, it's really helped balance me out by eating relatively plant-based. So we're gonna be making vegan protein pasta with an Alfredo sauce and sun-dried tomatoes. It's gonna be rich in protein, all from plant sources, and it's really filling and comforting. I'm sure there's probably a fancier name that I can come up with this, but right now it's just vegan protein pasta with Alfredo sauce and sun-dried tomatoes. So that's what we're calling it. Like I said, this is super quick and easy to make, and it's really great for meal prepping, and it actually makes a lot of food, so you can have leftovers. Like I'll make a big pot of this and freeze half of it for future use. This recipe like takes just minutes to whip up. I mean, the longest part is boiling the pasta, which you can't, I mean, that's like 10 to 15 minutes. So without further ado, let's get to cooking. I don't remember which way I point. Let's get to cooking. You gonna be my assistant today, Bennett? Gonna help mommy cook? When you're old enough, we're gonna do a series called Baking with Bennett. What do you think? Oh, thank you. Delicious.
So to kick this recipe off, we're just going to make our pasta according to the package directions. I'm starting by boiling my water. I add some salt to help the water boil faster. So a little chef hack there for you.
Okay, while our water is boiling, let me go over the few ingredients that we're using. So like I said, this is really a simple recipe. So the first thing we're gonna be needing, obviously, is some pasta. This is my favorite type of like plant-based pasta. It's Barilla, it's the red lentil penne. It comes in all different shapes and sizes, but my favorite is the penne pasta. I prefer the lentil over the chickpea because for some reason chickpea pasta just really messes with my stomach. If I eat regular chickpeas, it's fine. It's just the pasta is weird for me. So this doesn't make me feel bloated or anything. I like it because in a 2-ounce serving, it's 180 calories. There's 13 grams of protein, 34 grams of carbohydrates, and 1.5 grams of fat. So really good macros, and the only ingredient is red lentil flour. So this is what we're going to be adding. We're going to be using the whole box. And for my meal preppers out there, we're going to chat through portioning and how to separate this if you want to meal prep this meal at the end. So stay tuned for that. The next ingredient is what we're going to be using for our sauce. So we're going to be using cashews, and we're going to be using cauliflower florets. If for any reason you are allergic to nuts, you can leave this out completely and use the entire bag of frozen cauliflower. My mom is highly allergic to nuts, and I've made this before without the cashews, and it turned out just as delicious. This is just going to add a little more creamier of a texture to be more closely like an Alfredo, but you can get it flavored the same with just cauliflower. So this is a 7-ounce package of cashews, but we're only going to be using 1 cup of raw cashews, and then this is a 15-ounce bag of cauliflower, and we're just going to be using half of this bag. But like I said, if you're leaving the cashews out, use the entire 15-ounce bag. We're also going to be using minced garlic and an onion, as well as nutritional yeast. This is going to help give it a cheesy flavor. And we're also going to either be using a can of full-fat coconut milk, or if you want to add a little extra protein, you can use some Ripple milk. This can is 13.5 ounces, so you would just substitute the 13.5 ounces with plant protein milk. So I think we're going to be using the Ripple milk today because I want this to be as protein-packed as possible.
While we're waiting for our water to boil, we'll go ahead and start preparing our sauce. The very first thing you're going to want to do is cut your onion. You're only going to be using 1/2, so just roughly chop this up. It doesn't have to be super fine or anything. We're going to blend all of our sauce ingredients up in just a second, but once you have your onion chopped, you're going to add it to a medium saucepan with about a tablespoon of olive oil and your minced garlic. We'll just saute this down until the garlic is fragrant and the onion is translucent. Once our water begins to boil, we'll just add the pasta and cook as directed.
Okay, while our onion and garlic is cooking and the pasta is cooking, we're going to work on our cashews. So you're going to take 1 cup of your raw cashews, you're gonna add it to a microwave safe glass bowl, and you're gonna add enough water to cover the cashews, and we're going to heat this in the microwave for about 5 minutes. This is gonna soften them up and make them easier to blend. You can always soak these the night before, but I forgot to last night, so that's what we're doing here. Then you'll also want to defrost the cauliflower by just putting the bag in the microwave. I usually cut the bag open, take out what I need, and then defrost them that way. We're gonna blend all this up together, so obviously it doesn't have to be completely defrosted, but you want your cauliflower and your cashews soft enough to blend smoothly together.
Okay, so now is the fun part. We're going to make the sauce. So once you have your cashews and they've soaked and kind of cooled off for a minute, drain off the water, add those and your cauliflower florets that you've defrosted and the sauteed onions and garlic mixture to a blender or blender cup. We're going to add our liquid, which is either the Ripple milk or the full fat coconut milk, and we're going to blend this until smooth and creamy. And then once you have a smooth and creamy mixture, we're going to add this to a medium saucepan over medium-low heat. We're going to just simmer this and allow these ingredients to marry together. You'll add in your nutritional yeast. I like to add in a cup because I like that really cheesy flavor that it gives. And then we're just going to mix this together, add in about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt, and then let this kind of all come together.
Okay, so our sauce is done, our pasta is cooked, and so we're basically ready to rock. This makes enough sauce for 2 servings. I'll pour half of the sauce over the pasta, mix it in, take the remaining half of the Alfredo sauce, and I'll put it into an airtight container, and I'll either freeze it until a later date, or I'll just keep it in the fridge in case I plan on making another thing of pasta. But usually 1 box of pasta kind of gets me through 5 meals. This usually serves between 5 and 6 people. For all of my meal prep friends, if you plan on meal prepping this, you can either do 2 things. If you're just kind of intuitive eating and you're meal prepping, then I would just kind of eyeball it and divide this between 5 meal prep containers. If you're somebody that tracks macros and are trying to be a little more spot on, the way that you can do this is weigh your pot before doing anything. So an empty pot, weigh it on your food scale. Then once you're done cooking the pasta, you've added half of the sauce, weigh it again, subtract the weight of the pot, and that should give you the total volume of the pasta, and then you just divide that by 5. Usually I measure this in like ounces or grams. So for example, I'm just kind of coming off the top of my head, this is probably not the exact weight. If this was 500 grams, you would obviously divide it by 5, and that would be 100 grams per meal, if that makes sense. So anyways, let's go ahead and make this, serve it up. I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. I do like to add sun-dried tomatoes to the top. You can add the sun-dried tomatoes to the sauce, but I really like just adding them individually. 1, it looks prettier. 2, sun-dried tomatoes are acidic, and so it can make the sauce a little more acidic than I prefer. And then it's also a good option for those who don't like sun-dried tomatoes. You can just leave them out completely. So anyways, let's serve up some pasta.
All right, friends, normally I have an ending to my recipe videos, but my day got super crazy after this, and to be honest, I totally forgot to film an ending, so this is it. As always, the details to this recipe are in the description box. If you haven't already done so, be sure to hit subscribe to my channel so you never miss a recipe. New upload day is on Wednesdays, and be sure to stick around to the end for some bloopers. See you guys next time.
I prefer the lentil over, really? I prefer the lentil over, I'm gonna be using garlic and onion. Nutritional yeast, this is going to, as well, is going to help give it a cheesy flavor.